But let's move on to the next kind of
Yeah.
topic. This is a question. This is kind of a two-part question. We'll talk about the second part in another segment.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Jones says, what wide receiver would be best for Todd in the draft? Because now that we know
Mm-hmm.
who the offense that the Ravens, well, we don't know the exact offense, but we know at least who the offensive coordinator is going to be.
Yeah.
We can kind of look at players and be like, oh, hey, this is similar to this player that he's coached. Here's how he could maybe use him, because he's coached so many different types. He's coached Godwin. He's coached Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr. He's coached Jarvis Landry, some big names in there and big names and big mouths. He also coached George Pickens,
Yeah.
another big mouth. All of them had very, very much success underneath him. So when you're looking at this draft class, because the Ravens, they're going to be on the board at pick 22 most likely. They may take a wide receiver, or they could trade it, try and trade from round 3 to round 2 to get a wide receiver. There's so many guys to go after. Joshua, is there a name that you're kind of thinking, hey, with Todd Monken, now this is a name that I think could work better with the Baltimore Ravens?
For some reason, in my heart, as much as I would love to go for Jordan Addison or Jalen Hyatt, I do see us still picking, a possibly corner at that 22nd pick. So, if we don't find a way to get back in the second round, I'm going to go with Raheem Jarrett out of University of Maryland. He's a big body guy. I think I have to look up his stats, but I think he did go over 1,000 yards. I think he had 10 plus touchdowns in his career at University of Maryland. So, I mean, he brought in a lot of noise, and he made the younger brother Atua look pretty dang on good. So, I feel like having a guy like him, a proven guy, well, he's 6 foot even, but he's still a proven guy. Let me see. He had 60 receptions, 62 receptions, 830 yards. He went on a decline this past year, 40 receptions, 471. But in the grand scheme of things, he did equal up to have 10 touchdowns in his whole career. I do feel like I do still think he'll be a good solid guy to have on the outside. He is solid in his route running, and I feel like we can make it work. I just feel like we can make him work, because we do have to give options to whoever's going to be our starting quarterback, whether it's Lamar. I know I did see some articles that Snoop may be out of the window. Somebody may want him. I don't know who, but hey, if we can get a second or third round out of it, EDC and EDC we do trust. But I feel like a Raheem Jarrett. I know it's a guy out of SMU that's
Rashee Rice.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know if he'll slip to the third round, but if we don't go for corner in the first round, I'm really thinking Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison my comp player would be maybe a Chris Godwin for him. He's a solid guy. So he's really smooth in and out of his routes. He can stretch the field. You can do so many things with Jordan Addison on that field. So I mean, one or two out of those three guys, I feel like will be beneficial to a Todd Monken style of offense.
Yeah, and when you're looking at wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, the benefit is we have Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
And that's a benefit because Bateman is the perfect his play style could be either a number 1 or number 2.
Mm-hmm.
He is a route runner.
Yeah.
You compare a route runner with a deep threat. You compare him with a big body jump ball threat. You compare him with another route runner. You can do it all, and either one of them could be the 1 or the 2. So the Ravens really have options here.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work if your number 1 is a slot. Then it's like, okay, you're going to need, somebody else, and the slot's going to have to probably be the number 2 on your team. Instead, we have Rashad Bateman. Good size, good ability to stretch the field. He can really do it all. He's not Justin Jefferson or anything like that. We hope he becomes Justin Jefferson one day, but we can hope. Really, the Ravens can go with anybody. And Todd Monken, the benefit is, again, he is going to be able to look at it and say, like, hey, what do we want to do? Because Greg Roman and his style was always like, I want guys that can block. But, Joshua, you brought up, kind of the big body jump ball wide receivers. Rashee Rice, Raheem Jarrett. I want to throw another name out there. Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. He's a guy that I've watched. I really like his game. As a third round player, he could be somebody that the Ravens target who, playing in the SEC made difficult catches, played with Hendon Hooker,
Yeah.
played with Jalen Hyatt as a number 2 and was very solid and very competent and able to put up really good numbers, especially not this most recent season, but the season before that. He
Yeah.
was injured last season. Someone that could be a good jump ball guy. Another guy very late, Xavier Hutchinson. I know right now a lot of people are going to have him mocked to the 3rd round. He's not going to go in the 3rd round. He's going to run a really slow 40-yard dash. He's going to fall. He's about 6'1". He's almost 6'2". He's like 6'1 and a half, 6'1 and 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Slow, but very, very good with the ball in the air. Great jump ball skills, great contested catch skills, great over the middle catching. Now, I don't want to make this comparison because I've talked to people about it that have watched Hutchinson. And they're like, nah, I don't love it yet because he's not physical enough.
Mm-hmm.
But Anquan Bolden, if he's able to, work on his physicality and his routes and get that kind of mentality in him, that could be somebody that you could look at as what he could bring, at the high end, as a late round pick. But on the other side of things, here's what I'll say. I don't think we're going after a yak guy. I don't think that's what's going to happen. So I'm already marking out. I don't think it's going to be Zay Flowers. I don't think it's going to be Quentin Johnston. I just don't think that Todd Monken, I don't think he's a guy that's going to come in and just be like, I'm going to scheme everybody open. No, he's going to look at it and he's going to be like, hey, I'm going to utilize our skill set.
Right.
And the yak guys, it's very hard to use. They are probably the most difficult players to use because it's like you have to get them the ball. Instead, you want guys that can get open. They can make your job easier.
Yeah.
So in the 1st round, I like Jordan Addison. He can get open. JSN can get open. But I'm liking the speed. I think we go after a deep threat. I think we go after potentially a Jalen Hyatt if we go after someone in the 1st round. Jalen Hyatt or, I know a lot of people love him. If he runs 4.2, maybe trade back early into the 2nd round and grab ourselves a Tank Dell, or go after a Marvin Mims in late round 2, early round 3, player. I haven't watched Keyshawn Boot yet. Otherwise, I would bring him up. But, those are kind of the names that I'm thinking. I do think the Ravens could go wide receiver, though, now that we have an offensive coordinator, because he may have a plan. And they may be talking to Lamar and saying, hey, this is what we want to do. We're going to go draft ourselves a wide receiver for this strategy. And then if they tell Lamar, hey, we're going to get you a deep threat. He's going to go out there. He's going to catch the long ball because we know you can throw the ball long. We're going to do the hard play actions. We're going to get people down the field. Lamar goes, okay. We'll see if they do it. Then we draft Jalen Hyatt, and he goes, they're committed. They're doing it.
Now, so let me ask you this, McConnell. Now, we talked about the best wide receiver to draft. Which wide receiver do you feel like in-house could possibly have a fighting chance with a new OC?
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's any. I like them as play. Here's the thing. I think all of them are if they play, they're going to be fine. I'm not saying, oh man, I don't want Prochet on the field. I don't want Tyler Wallace on the field, but I don't think we're going to bring in Todd Monken and we're going to see James Prochet step up and be a wide receiver 2. I don't think we're going to see Devin Duvernay step up and just all of a sudden become a true wide receiver 2. I think Duvernay will be a good wide receiver 3. I'm not expecting major improvement from anyone along those lines just because I don't see their game fitting that way. And I think the confidence is probably pretty low for guys like Prochet and Tylan Wallace where they've been waiting and they've just been hindered.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to develop, and the Ravens are going to draft newer guys, younger guys that they can mold into the ways that they want. Instead, Greg Roman said, hey, we're going to teach them how to block and play special teams. So I unfortunately, I don't think anybody's going to take that step to be wide receiver 2. Could it work if, we rocked with Duvernay as wide receiver 2? Yes, it could. But I think people would be disappointed and it would be another season of going, man, get Lamar some weapons for once.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to take one or maybe two, I mean, they would have to be fully healthy. They would have to really show their stuff game in, game out for those first three preseason games. But I feel like maybe possibly a Shamar Bridges or a Benjamin Victor. And the reason I'm saying that because they're both over 6 foot, they're both big body guys. And if they could play anything, if they could show they could play anything like George Pickens, I feel like Tom Monken could possibly try to have a field day with either the one of the two, so, especially with Shamar Bridges. For the simple fact, we did see so many highlights of him, being able to get the jump ball, being able to box out the defenders and make those difficult catches and things of that nature and still be able to stretch the field. Granted, it was against second and third stringers that was trying to fight for a position, but if Shamar Bridges did not get hurt, I feel like he probably would have squeaked out and got on the active roster. I truly do believe that. So I feel like, if we don't try to go for a big body guy, because I don't think there's too many big body guys in this year's draft that's like really proven or that's really aggressive. Because I feel like we do need you need a dog on all levels, and we don't have that dog yet on the wide receiver level. And I feel like if we have an aggressive type of guy, that has the hands of Anquan Bolden, the attitude of Steve Smith, and the savviness of a Derek Mason. Yes, I just called 3 wide receivers that was in their prime that did a hell of a damn good job for Joe Flacco. If you have a mixture of all 3, I feel like they could possibly work on this field for Lamar Jackson. And I feel like, if one of them take that step up, we might can see, a diamond in the rough truly being polished and being showcased here in Baltimore.
Yeah, and looking back at your question, I think the answer is Bateman. like if a wide receiver is going to take the jump,
he should be that guy.
It's like Bateman should be the one that takes the jump and goes from 750 yards to like maybe 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
Like if someone's going to make the jump, it's going to be Bateman. I don't think there's going to be a jump from wide receiver 2 or 3. I think Bateman's going to be huge because he's going to have routes that are designed for his play style. And he's going to get jump balls, and he's going to get these opportunities that he's never gotten before. Which we see so much with so much talent that the Ravens have drafted where it's like they're just not used, right? You can look at the edge rushers that we've had. You can look at Darren Waller.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, yeah, we had this guy. Oh, wow. You guys had Darren Waller. Why didn't you use him? I don't know. He scored 1 touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens, I believe. I mean, it was on like a jet sweep, like a tight end jet sweep sort of thing at the 1 yard line he scored on, I want to say. And it's like, we just didn't put him on the field.
Yeah.
Monken's going to at least be able to use him. He's going to, I think we'll see some jump balls to Rashee. Or at least in the preseason, at least in the offseason, he's going to analyze, hey, who can I really throw it to? And luckily he has some really good pass game guys that he can talk to him like, hey, I haven't been here. How's Rashee in these situations? How's Tylen in these situations? And Keith and T are going to be able to tell him, hey, he's actually really good here. Mm-hmm. He needs to work on this. And he can know, okay, on these formations, we may be able to have a spot for him. He may be able to play with us at that point.